Jesse Love is going to RCR. Austin Hill sat down with Dale Jr. and talked about his future. And just in case you didn't know, David Schildhouse won Groovy Hollow 3 for us last night. So let's talk about it. Coming up next.
David Schildhouse was there to pounce. He becomes our only repeat Groovy Hollow winner. David Schildhouse, a victor of Groovy Hollow 3. His soul shall remain victorious.
What's going on, everybody? Hope you're doing good today. All right, first things first, shout out to David Schildhouse. Not only him, but I also wanted to shout out several other people. Christopher Darling for making that car look so good. Eric Estep for putting it on. AE Engines also for putting it on. Podium Esports, they also were the ones that did the actual broadcast itself. And the biggest of all, of course, was we were raising money for the Children's Miracle Network via the Extra Life division of their umbrella, or whatever you want to call it, like that. So awesome. You guys raised a lot of money, and I wanted to give a big shout out to you guys. Talked to David via Twitter on the DMs, and he was super impressed with the turnout we had. So shout out to you guys. I was super humbled by it. I never imagined that many people would care about it or anything like that, but the absolute support you guys showed, not only from donating money, but just being in the chat for the whole time, that was really cool. So shout out to you guys too. And he got the job done. He won it for us. So good on everybody. Just a really cool event all the way around. All right, so you can see right here that Jesse Love is announced to be going to the RCR car. Of course, that is the RCR car that Sheldon Creed has given up to go to the JGR thing, to go do the JGR thing over there for Joe Gibbs Racing. So what's really interesting to me about this is ever since, or maybe before that, but ever since the Tyler Reddick, Kyle Busch sort of swap right there, it seems like Toyota versus Chevrolet swapping and grabbing each other's talent has just sort of been an ongoing thing. Of course, most recently, I just mentioned it, Sheldon Creed, and of course, colleague with Chandler Smith. So it just seems like they're swapping and grabbing each other's guys. Of course, Jesse Love was a Toyota driver, won the ARCA Series with Toyota. Now he's going to be a Chevrolet man. So it just seems like Toyota and Chevrolet are in this competition for who can get each other's talent. So I did think that was kind of an interesting aspect to it.
Man, I am very torn now. Like I just talked to Richard Childress, and he's kind of talking about how much he values me and he wants to keep me around for long term and make it work for a long time. So I was like, I got a lot on my mind, a lot to think about, and I thought about it for the next few weeks. There was some other teams out there that we talked to. I talked to Stuart Haas a little bit, but that never really went anywhere. Like it never got to that point of like, hey, we want you or anything. Talked to Spire a little bit, and that kind of went somewhere, but not fully. And so I'm sitting there thinking about it, and I'm like, I don't know what I want to do. Like I'm back and forth, and hadn't even mentioned it to my wife or anything. Like I've been doing this all on my own. I hadn't mentioned it to my dad, like what I'm thinking. I just almost went into my own little shell and was like, I'm going to figure this out on my own and figure out what I want to do. And there was a lot of factors that kind of went into me deciding the decision that I decided is, I want to make sure it's the right opportunity. Not saying that college wouldn't have been the right opportunity, but I just wanted to make sure it was the right opportunity for me. I'm very loyal to a fault, and I'm very loyal to every race team I've ever raced for. And Richard has just been so good to me. I'm like, man, I don't want to leave Richard. Like, I don't want to leave RCR. I want to keep building this program. I want to keep trying to win championships at the Xfinity level. And the way I saw it was, if I can keep performing on the Xfinity side, who knows, maybe one day I can, run on the Cup side for RCR is kind of what my mindset was.
So you see that right there? That is from the Dale Jr. download. Of course, you know where to find that. I don't need to explain to you where that's at on YouTube. But I found some interesting things from that. He talked about his contract with RCR doesn't mean he's going to be driving in the Cup Series yet. Or he alluded to something, I paraphrasing in about so many words. He's driving for Xfinity for now. So it leads me to believe that there was at least some conversation of him going and driving the Cup car over there at RCR. And then, of course, you saw later in the interview, he said that he thinks that he's going to have an opportunity at some point to drive the RCR car in the Cup Series. So I found that very interesting. He also mentioned that they might expand charters. So it looks like RCR is building something big with Sheldon Creed over there. And then, of course, like I just said, the aforementioned addition of Jesse Love. Big RCR news this week, by the way. So the addition of Jesse Love feels like they're building something over there at RCR for the future. So that is very interesting. The other part of it that I wanted to address is he talks about Colleague Racing was an option, Spire Racing was an option, and it feels like he got all the way down those paths with them, and those were very serious options. But he also mentioned in there that Stewart-Haas Racing was an option, and it leads me to believe which particular ride was he an option for. Was it the 10 car? Was it the 4 car? And he said that they never really got far down the line, but it lets you know, and I kind of want to know the time frame of it, because if it was for the 4 car, that's not a big deal because Josh Berry's already filled it. But if it was for the 10 car, that lets us know that Eric Almirola might be leaving, but without a timeline, it's hard to say which car he was actually talking to Stewart-Haas Racing for. So I thought that was pretty interesting as well. But yeah, just interesting there. What do you think the future for Austin Hill or RCR is? Let me know down in the comments. And finally, Kyle Larson and his high limit racing deal with Brad Sweet there has acquired Tony Stewart's All-Star Circuit of Champions. Had to look it up. I forgot what the actual name of it was. So he gets Tony Stewart's dirt racing series. Tony Stewart said, talked to Matt Weaver and said that the main reason he sold it to Kyle Larson is he built the infrastructure, he built all that stuff up, and he wanted to see it continue to grow into the future, and he felt like it was in good hands with Brad Sweet and Kyle Larson there. So it's not like Tony Stewart is divesting. He just wants to see a bright future for dirt racing. So he is still interested in it. A lot of people are speculating, he doesn't care about anything about drag racing now. So according to Matt Weaver, what he said to Matt Weaver, that is not the case, and he is still interested in all the other forms of racing that he is associated with. All right, that is all I've got for you on this one. So just super stoked today. Been grinning ever since last night, jumping up and down on my couch like a wild man at the end of that race. As much as I work with late models, some of you know I work in late models, some of you don't. As nervous as I've been in late models, I think I was equally as nervous, or that is the most nervous I've been in a long time. Those last 8 or 9 laps in that race, so super crazy, but if you made it this far, would love to have your subscription. Appreciate you all. If you're already subscribed, you guys know that. If you got a question or comment, leave it down in the comment section. I try to get to as many of them as I can. If you want to help out the channel, there is a merch store for a link for the merch store in the description. I'm all messed up now. And yeah, that's all I got for you on this one. Thanks for your time. Peace. Week ending. That was so terrible.